So Sam and Colby have had one of the most controversial paranormal series ever, released on YouTube in October of 2023, The Conjuring House, Hell Week. Beardos, weirdos, boils and ghouls, how are we all doing? Something very different for you today. I'm not in the studio, I'm actually sat elsewhere in the house. I've got some studio lighting set up, 2 camera angles, just to try and make this look a little bit different. And we're going to have a lot of footage played from the numerous issues surrounding this event. So join me as we delve into the origins of this terrifying location, of this huge YouTube event, the involvement of renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, and the unsettling truth behind one of the most notorious figures, Bathsheba Sherman. Add to that, at the end of this video, my own investigation at the ancient Ramin, which will ultimately prove once and for all that despite what their fans say, Sam and Colby are fake, and Sam and Colby are in fact liars. The Conjuring House, located in Harrisville, Rhode Island. It was originally built in the 1800s by the Arnold family, and over the years the property has seen its fair share of tragic events, including suicides, drownings, mysterious deaths, rumours of soldiers buried in the walls, and this has earned the building a reputation for being a hotbed of paranormal activity. So in with this hotbed of activity, enter Ed and Lorraine Warren, the pioneers of the paranormal investigation field. In the 1970s, a family called the Perron family had moved into the Arnold estate, the Conjuring House. And I'm not going to delve too deep into that history because you all know it. And this was all then chronicled in a movie called The Conjuring, where the Warrens battled malevolent spirits and demonic forces haunting the household. Only the movie, whilst being a great horror movie, has a bit of a cheek to call itself based on true events. And of course, the story focuses more on Ed and Lorraine Warren, who, in my opinion, who are not the pioneers of the paranormal investigation field. They are just the greatest scammers of the paranormal world. The biggest con artists since the Fox sisters. And I feel it's important to talk about Bathsheba Sherman, the villain of the movie. But in the real world, not so much. You see, central to the Conjuring House's dark history, a woman accused of witchcraft and malevolent acts. Born in the 19th century, Bathsheba lived on the Arnold estate grounds and was rumoured to have practiced dark rituals. There's a whole host of stories that you can get from the Conjuring movie and through various paranormal investigations at the property. She was apparently linked to the deaths of several children, and ultimately suspicions led to her being a witch. But the truth about Bathsheba Sherman is very different to what's portrayed in the movie. While legend portrays Bathsheba to be a witch, to be malevolent, to be evil, historical records paint a very different picture. There is very little concrete evidence to support any claims of Bathsheba being involved in witchcraft, or any of the allegations against her. And historians suggest that Bathsheba was just a victim of slander and superstition from the time. Nevertheless, her name has become synonymous with the Conjuring House, perpetuating her legacy as a sinister figure. Thanks, Hollywood. Well done, Ed and Lorraine. Enter Sam and Colby. I imagine anyone that watches the paranormal on YouTube, whether you watch Sam and Colby or not, you're aware of who Sam and Colby are. 11 million subscribers the last time I looked. They are a juggernaut of the paranormal for YouTube. They're originally known for skits, comedy videos, and exploration videos, and then later paranormal investigations and vlogs. They gained popularity in the early 2010s with their comedic skits and challenges that were uploaded to Vine before they transitioned over to YouTube. The duo gaining attention for their daring explorations, often venturing into abandoned buildings and documenting their experiences. And this content evolved to include paranormal investigations, where they claim to encounter supernatural phenomena everywhere they go. But Sam and Colby haven't been without controversy in the past, and yes, I understand they were young when they started, and when you're young you make mistakes. I did, you did, they did. Fair enough. They were caught trespassing and ultimately arrested for it. In 2015 they faced a lot of criticism and backlash for allegedly trespassing into a building and causing property damage, and as we've seen in recent times, they're not so respectful of people's property and buildings. In 2019, Sam and Colby faced further backlash and criticism for a controversial series called The Origin, where they explored supposed locations cursed in origin. Critics accused them of exploiting tragedies for views and clicks, and for sensationalising it all through these paranormal investigations. And despite the controversy, Sam and Colby remain giants in the paranormal community on YouTube. And then on Halloween 2023, Sam and Colby released the Hell Week series, where they stayed at the previously mentioned Conjuring House. They stayed there for a full week. And what happened in this week-long investigation of the Conjuring House upon its release in October 2023 will probably go down in history as one of the most controversial paranormal episodes, series, and fallout ever to grace YouTube. Instead of a highly celebrated paranormal investigation into a renowned haunted location, instead of breaking the boundaries and breaking new ground, instead viewers were treated to the usual Sam and Colby show. The usual shtick. These two guys and then groups of their friends turning up to a haunted location, reading equipment wrong, reading the room wrong, and ultimately making content that was no different to anything else they've ever put out. And through all of this, all of the guests, all of the people that turned up, their investigation bared very little relevance to any of the reported hauntings of the Arnold estate. And of course, we can't mention that week and the fallout without mentioning Cody and Satori. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I've said a lot of other people have said a lot. This drama is still rearing its head with Cody and Satori claiming their innocence, claiming that they're real, and anyone with any sense of critical thinking skills calling them out for what they are. So instead of this huge celebration of one of the biggest paranormal investigations to take place, which is what we were alluded to was going to happen, we end up in the entire week becoming mad in controversy. So controversial, in fact, that new debunking channels have popped up everywhere, and fair play to them. Pre-existing debunking channels having a massive influx of viewership, and in true YouTube style. The Sam and Colby fanbase, the XPLR, they went on the attack. The debunkers, they were threatened, belittled, mass reported. TikToks were made of people threatening to beat up a certain bearded debunker with baseball bats. My own TikTok channel, which was just about gaming clips, was mass reported to the point where I lost it. My channel was taken away from me. The entire thing got so out of hand that Sam and Colby, exploring with Josh and others, had to come forward and get involved and speak about what the debunkers had brought to light. This was huge for the debunking community. And I'll be fair, exploring with Josh was far more critical in his thinking, where he sat and questioned, I don't know if I believe them anymore. The debunkers have brought some things out that I need to look at, things that I need to assess. And Sam and Colby bumbled their way through some half-assed debunking attempt. The only way to have proved that it wasn't the feet tapping was to get Cody and Satori to lift their feet up in the air. And they didn't. They give them slippers, but they were still stood with their body weight planted on the floor. And Sam and Colby's attempt to debunk caused even more controversy than what it started in the first place. I mean, how does a ghost spell its own name wrong? All of this even led to Jason Hawes, Satori's dad, Jason Hawes, a ghost hunter's fame, responding in a bid to stand up for his daughter in a video that again caused the debunkers to rally against cries of toxicity, of nastiness, of horrible things, and more importantly, against the claims of hate, whilst we were the guys being threatened just for critical thinking. And so I responded on behalf of the community against toxicity to fight these claims of why we are toxic. And I called out Jason Hawes and his words against the debunkers, because a lot of us debunkers cite him as one of our reasons for debunking. And then what happened was Jason Hawes actually responded not only to me in a written statement, he emailed me, and then he put out his own video where he apologized to me, the community, and the other debunkers for things he said not quite being what he meant, for things that could have quite easily been taken out of context. I respected it, I appreciated it. And it culminated with Jason Hawes basically stating that he believes that debunkers are not only relevant, but needed. Cody and Satori at this time seemingly went into hiding. Nothing much was said. There was some blanket statement that annoyed a lot of people because it didn't cover any of the issues raised, until Project Fear released their Conjuring House visit, which was filmed a while ago but released much later than Sam and Colby's video, after all of the controversy. And there was an immediate backlash, and this backlash was to the point that it wasn't just the debunkers calling out Cody and Satori, it was the fans, Project Fear. It got to the point where Project Fear felt they had to sit down with Cody and Satori, and to the credit of Project Fear, they interviewed Cody and Satori, and they asked some of the hard questions that the debunkers and the paranormal field at large wanted to know. But the end result was just more of the same. More claims of debunkers being toxic, the community being toxic, avoiding certain questions, refusing to prove once and for all whether it was toe tapping or not by simply removing their shoes and socks. Satori went as far as to say the reason she would not take off her shoes and socks was she doesn't want her feet on the internet for all to see because there are some weirdos out there. But a quick look at her Instagram showed photos of her barefoot. There are videos of her in flip-flops. We were never ever interested in your feet, Satori. It's Cody's, because Cody is the one that is tapping and knocking and popping his joints. What Satori did there was deflection from Cody. And then, in a final bid to shut up us critical thinkers, the cancer card was played. Now, it is documented Cody did once suffer cancer, but to say that he couldn't possibly pop a joint or crack his toes or pop a ligament because of cancer when he was a teenager is ridiculous, and there is no proof out there to suggest that what he said there in regards to the aftermath is true. What they claim the cancer caused with Cody is medically not sound information. So back to Sam and Colby. One of the biggest criticisms of us debunkers, and of me especially, was that we proved nothing. That we failed to prove Sam and Colby faked anything. We only proved or brought into question Cody and Satori. I mean, the magical staff member's head coming up out of a staircase from a basement where Sam and Colby claimed to be alone, that wasn't proof enough. Some arguments against that were even, that's the ghost of the broke neck lady. That's right, the argument was, the broke neck lady was captured on camera by Sam and Colby escaping from that basement, and they didn't draw attention to it. They flipped the camera up away. They cut away from a ghost. In editing, definitely not this staff. To end this entire history on the Hell Week, Sam and Colby, are they real, are they fake, all of the rest of it. And to answer to the claims that the debunkers have never debunked Sam and Colby, I'd like to provide the biggest debunk there is on them. You see, at the Conjuring House, a lot of people stated in my comment sections, you can't debunk this investigation because you have never been there. But I'll tell you where I have been. I've recently been to the ancient Ram Inn and captured some wonderful sounds on camera that I easily explained exactly where those sounds came from. And while I was there, I captured the sound of what sounded like a baby or a child coughing, but what it was in fact was a woman outside the building coughing. I debunked my own evidence.
I mean, it'll naturally go quieter as the night goes on, but it's not a bad idea. Gonna have to. Idea. Gonna have to. Idea. Gonna have to. Idea. Gonna have to. Idea. Gonna have to.
Cough it up. Because I'm a critical thinker, logical paranormal investigating. Then later on in the night, we heard kids' voices. And they were kids' voices. So on my video, I look out the window, and there's two kids, literally 3 to 4 foot lower than where I am. Because the ancient Ram Inn is set below the road. The building is so old that the first floor is only a couple of feet higher up than the pavement.
Oh yeah, the curtains work fine. So, Christ, they're old. Oh no, we've got company.
Sam and Colby, having the same experience as me, describe having these experiences on the second floor. And there is no way they could possibly be hearing voices from outside because they were too high up. I mean, firstly, they were on the first floor. The ground floor level is actually under street level. The living room, kitchen, and then the bar area. Then you go up the stairs to the first floor where the bishop's room and the witch's room is. The bishop's room being the room that looks out onto the main road.
like a horse's hoof, and it was actually stuffed up the chimney, and what it was actually used for was as...
What the fuck?
What the fuck was that?
That just fell off.
What? Wow. Wait, was that?
Yeah,
somebody else?
Hello?
That actually gave me chills.
That was... Hello? Hello? Can you just look out the window? Can you just check that was like...
Are we on the second story?
Okay, wait.
That was a
we
girl.
Check outside that there was a girl.
Do you genuinely believe that was probably a kid on the road, or do you think that was actually something in here?
I would say it's something in here.
Oh my god, dude!
Sam and Colby also failed to mention that there is a sign as soon as you walk into the kitchen of the property through the main door that states, turn off the lights and close the curtains while you're investigating because the local children will play up. And we experienced this because in the earlier parts of our investigation, we had the lights on and the curtains open, and it led to me debunking the sounds from this house. Sam and Colby lied. They lied about the position of the room, especially in regards to how close it was to street level. They lied about the fact that you can in fact hear every noise from outside because the window frames are all rotten, there's gaps in them. It's single paned, really old glass. You can clearly hear things coming from outside. You can see daylight through the bottoms of some of these window frames. Noise from this first floor bleeds in. So, to Sam and Colby fans, to the XPLR, to the people that threatened me, that mocked me, that said I couldn't debunk Sam and Colby, that I've never debunked Sam and Colby, there's your evidence, there's your debunk, and you cannot argue with this. While you may attempt to, you will be able to prove nothing because in your own words, you didn't investigate the ancient ramen. I did. So there you are. True facts. And Sam and Colby can ignore me, and they can ignore the fact that their community threatened, belittled, berated and mass reported anyone that said anything different against Sam and Colby. The true fact is that Sam and Colby are fake, and they cover the fakery with lies, bullshit, and they hide behind their rabid fan base. And whilst hiding behind that fan base, they ignore how toxic and nasty their own fan base has been to other content creators. Meanwhile, the debunkers are still painted out to be narcissistic, horrible liars. So please do let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of this new style of video. Do you want to see more of this, or do you just want to see me back in the studio? Let me know your thoughts on the debunk. Has my investigation at the ancient ramen ultimately proved that Sam and Colby are liars and fakers? And as always, don't go into other people's comment sections giving any grief. And much love to you. Beardo out.